Ban. You are watching BCTV. BCTV, television for all. Hello.
Hello, folks. Welcome to this live broadcast from the Centennial Memorial Pavilion here on Ashmore Street, where today His Excellency President Jose Yuma Boyka is expected to sign a book of condolence for foreign President Samuel Kayandu, who remains recently were actually exhumed and is to be buried with the former First Lady, who is also the wife to former President Samuel Kayandu. So yes, we are here before the Centennial Memorial Pavilion in Monrovia, specifically Ashmore Street, and the President is expected to arrive here anytime soon to sign the book of condolence for the fallen hero and his wife. He's going to be accompanied by members of the cabinet. So at exactly 10:30, it's expected that the president will be here. And also as part of the protocol, the former First Lady will be laid to rest along with her husband. But let me join my colleague Anthony Williams, who is also along here with me, and we have Damwa Fufana. He's going to be joining us too for those who just joining the broadcast to give us a brief information about the former president. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you very much, Aizon, and we'll rejoin you shortly. But thank you very much for following, guys. And so basically, like the government of Liberia, a few months back, yes, His Excellency President Boakai have made it clear that his government is interested and also has given key priority to fallen presidents. Speaking of former President Samuel Doe and other fallen Liberian leaders who the government of Liberia did not give a deserving funeral or burial, like a state funeral. And so the government of Liberia have decided to rebury some of these fallen statesmen, especially the presidents, which will begin now with former president or late president Samuel Kayandu. And so today, of course, like you said, marks the signing of the book of condolence. And the folks from the Executive Protection Service are already here. The family of late President Samuel Kayandu and late President, First Lady, Madame Nancy Doe are already here at the Centennial Memorial Pavilion. And all is set for the signing of the book of condolence for the fallen president, Samuel Kayandu. Liberia was blessed with the Liberian leader, the late Liberian President Samuel Doe, emanating from southeastern Liberia, Granjida County precisely, sometimes in May of 1951. That was when former fallen President Samuel Kayandu was born. Of course, he joined the Liberian army, the Liberian military, and eventually became a politician during the 1980s. Of course, he was the chairperson for the LPRC. That's the not necessarily LPMC, but the PRC, the People's Redemption Council. At the time, he was the chairperson of the People's Redemption Council. And in 1980, precisely in 1986, January of 1986, the coup took place, and late President Samuel Kayandu of the country at the time in January. In April of Kayandu still held Liberian presidency, and then he preceded late President William R. Tubman after the coup took place in Liberia's history, as you are aware. So, of course, the government of Liberia have decided to dignify the passing of late President Samuel Kayandu, excuse me. And most of the activities, beginning from here in the capital, where the book of condolence is going to be signed, coupled with all the ceremonies that the government, the state is going to observe. The actual state funeral is going to take place in Zwedru, his hometown, not too zone, because President though is from Tuzon. We're hearing the convoy massed up at Tuzon, his hometown, to pay some homage to him before they can proceed to Zwedru, Grand Jide County, where he hailed from. As we speak, the home of late President Samuel Kanyadu has already been given a facelift. Of course, the structure has been lying in ruins, but at least just to dignify the state funeral that's about to take place for him, sympathizers, folks there have cleared, the entire compound, and now has a facelift. And so the activities begin today as the signing of the Book of Condolence is going to kick off. We are expecting His Excellency President Boakai here in the next few minutes by 11, or he should have been here precisely 10:30 this morning to begin the signing of the Book of Condolence. But again, you can walk or follow us through as to what the activities are going to be like. But basically, that's it. Liberia is giving a state funeral to late President Samuel Kanyadu.
So thank you very much, Anthony Williams, for providing details information surrounding the burial and the brief information, how he came to prominence. Yes, but for today, Tuesday, June 24, 2025, the Book of Condolence for the former president is expected to be opened shortly here at the Centennial Memorial Pavilion on Ashmore Street from 10:30 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m.
It's a day-long event, of course.
And for tomorrow, Wednesday, June 25, 2025, at about 9 o'clock, the remains of the late president will be removed from the Samuel Stracke funeral parlor on the Tottenham Boulevard and taken to the Centennial Memorial Pavilion here again, where it will lie in state beginning at 10 o'clock a.m. And immediately after that, the remains will be taken on an appropriate escort from here straight to Grand Jide County, Zwedru. And on Thursday, June 26, 2025, the remains will be taken to the Albert T. White Sports Stadium in Grand Jide, where they will have a night of weight keeping. And then on Friday, June 27, 2025, at about 9 o'clock, the remains will be removed from the Albert T. White Sports Stadium and will be taken to the Zwedru City Hall, where they will have the funeral arrangement or activities. But for today's activities, at about 10:30 to 11, is expected that the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boakai, and members of the cabinet will come here and sign a book of condolence. And then at 11 minutes or 5 minutes past 11, it's expected that the Vice President and members of the Senate will also be here to sign the book of condolence. It runs up to 11:40, and at 11:45 to 12:20, the Speaker and members of the House of Representatives will also come here to sign the book of condolence for the foreign statesman and his wife. So at 12:25 to 12:55, it's expected that Her Honor, the Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court will also arrive here to pay their tribute or sign the book of condolence here. At 1 p.m. to 1:20, former heads of state and former vice head of state, former First Lady, will also be here to sign the book of condolence. About 1:25 to 1:55, the doyen and members of the diplomatic corps, members of the consular corps, and heads of international organizations will also be given the time to sign the book of condolence. 2 p.m. to 2:45, government officials will also be given the time to sign, and 3:25 to 3:55 p.m., former government officials will also be here. From 4 p.m. to 4:20 is open to the general public to sign the book of condolence. So that's the rundown for today's activities, and we are still here waiting the arrival of the president, Joseph Boakai, and members of his cabinet. And while we were in speech, we saw the daughter of the former president, Veronica Mamindu, who is already here, and she dressed in dominant black. So family members are already here because you have to be here seated awaiting the arrival of the president. So all is set. As soon as we can get signal that the president is about to hit the ground, we will be bringing you a live broadcast.
So, I mean, these activities are also coupled with the passing of former First Lady Nancy Doe. Of course, she's Liberia's first indigenous First Lady. I mean, and on the 21st of May, just last month, she passed off. And the government of Liberia also have decided to tie in her passing or her burial with the honoring of late President Samuel Kanyando. So also her remains, will be going to Grange. All of the activities will all take place in Zwedru, where late President Samuel Kanyando will be giving a state funeral alongside his wife, the first indigenous First Lady of the Republic of Liberia. As we stand right here at the Centennial Pavilion, in the breeze, the historic Centennial Pavilion. Speaking of history, right next to it is the National Museum, where lots of history are being kept for fallen President Samuel Kanyando. Right here, also at the Centennial Pavilion, the limousine that fallen President Samuel Doe was driving as his official presidential vehicle is just right next door, right by my right hand there.
You want to get a glance at?
Yeah, where we could just take a walk there. Yeah, so for those who in history might have not heard about the vehicle that the fallen president drove. We could go take a look, just focus ahead of us while we walk there. But also, as you see, the attraction here on the grounds of the Centennial Pavilion, the vehicles already packed, the security apparatus are already doing their work. Everything is being put in place for this, national events. And so but speaking of history, we can just show you the vehicle of the late President Samuel Kanyando. It's a limousine that he drove, quite a long one. Yes. And also the fallen First Lady might have driven alongside her husband in this vehicle. Right here, we have several vehicles belonging to three fallen presidents. We have that of, I can't say three fallen, but two fallen presidents. One is president who's in existence, fallen President Samuel Doe, late President Torbert, and also we have President Charles Taylor's vehicle. But this precisely is the limousine that the late President Samuel Doe was using as his official presidential vehicle while serving Liberia as the country's president. This limousine has lots of history attached to it. It's been here for years now, since the fallen president Samuel Doe.
It's a Mercedes-Benz 300 limousine.
Yeah.
And it reads a Mercedes-Benz limousine where they prefer make of ground travel for 20th century president of Liberia. If you use limousine or
Lincolns.
Yes.
Lincoln Rolls Royce.
Lincoln.
Few presidents in the past use Rolls Royces, yes.
I'm hearing the
sound of the convoy. So it appears we can. I guess His Excellency the President is around now, but we just wanted to show you something historical for your own view, just so you have a glimpse of what's going on here at the grounds of the Centennial Pavilion. So we're getting the sound of the sirens, but this is obviously not the convoy of the president. This is an ambulance that is just passing through. This is not the convoy of the president. But it appears there are also signs that His Excellency might be here any moment from now. And so while we're still here bringing you this coverage, we'd like you to stick and stay with us. The entire grounds of the grounds of the Centennial Pavilion actually cleared. And if you look that way, traffic is being directed to go a little further downward, on Front Streets. And then on our far right here, on Ashmore Street itself, this entire place has been barricaded, and only authorized people can access this location. We expect the convoy of His Excellency the President to come from that direction. I've already seen media folks from the Executive Mansion, like ourselves, are already here. The official cameraman of the president is also making his way here. So I think this is what it looks like. Maybe we should face this way while since we expect the convoy to come from that way. But at the same time, Aisen, additional details about the funeral of late President Doe will come up eventually in subsequent broadcasts. But again, like you said, an appropriate escort will take the remains of the fallen president to Zweju, Grangida County, where the state funeral will be held. So we could go a little further and show our followers the arrival of the convoy, or we could stick around right here because we are getting signals now that the convoy will be here any moment from now, Isaac.
Just searching the Williams, and this is coming at a point in time where Grangidians are making all frantic efforts to give a befitting burial to the former First Lady and the former President Samuel Kayando. So massive work is being done in Grangide at the home of the former president. I saw on social media the level of work. Imagine an abandoned building,
sure,
and you saw the level of work that is being carried out there, making sure that, well, the former president can be given a befitting burial.
I mean, the level of sympathy, solidarity that has been shared, especially by the people of Grangide, is, quite commendable. Come to think of it, speaking of national figures emanating from across the country, somehow though, just like Liberia has President George Weah from Kwankru, we have President Joseph Wakai coming from Lofa County. Liberia have had some prominence on, and the late Samuel Kane is the biggest name emanating from southeastern Liberia, especially from Grangide County. So the solidarity is still there. The love for that name still exists in Grangide County. You get to Grangide and you say Samuel though. Even if the 2-3-year-old kid coming today will tell you they know something about fallen or late President Samuel Kayando. So of course the solidarity, that sympathy still sits in the people of Grangide County. I saw the level of unity, the togetherness to clean that entire compound in less than 2 days.
You've been there, and
sure, Sure, I've been to Grangide a few times, several times. I'm a Southeastern, I'll come to think of it. From Harper to Zweju is no distance. So I understand what it means when I know Grangide people in Samuel Doe Bene. Let me say in the Liberian term.
Okay.
Yes, so it's going to be a huge event in Zweju. Trust me. Upon arrival, once the convoy arrives, there are folks already set up. Are waiting. T-shirts are being printed. Different. Let me say in the Liberian parlor, bunch of events are being arranged across the city in different parts of Grangide County. Tuzon, precisely where late President Samuel Doe hails from. Events also being planned in his honor there in Tuzon. So, for those of you who will be following us on LNTV, we will be in Grangide County to bring you a full coordinated broadcast to show you the happenings from within Zweju. So I think we are getting signals now that the president is a little closer.
Yes.
So let's stick around. For those of you who are watching, we could show the camera that way so you see. But we are getting signs that the convoy will be here any moment from now. So wherever you're watching it from, keep watching. Today marks the signing of the book of condolence for late President Samuel Kayando. His Excellency President Boakai will be here to sign the book of condolence. So as we await the arrival of His Excellency the President, keep watching and keep following LNTV Liberia, wherever you're watching us from. Eisen.
Yes, so folks, today it's expected that the president, right after signing the book of condolence, will be for the vice president and members of the Senate. I'm wondering as to whether the vice president is in country.
Mm-hmm. But yes, because we have him on the lineup also.
Yes.
But he's in China on some diplomatic engagements. And
so obviously, if he's not around, you have the Putin,
of course,
sitting in
the proxy for him, obviously.
For him. But the speaker and members of the House of Representatives will do theirs at about 11:45 a.m. to 12:20, and the Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court will also sign 12:25 to 12:55, talking about former heads of state and former vice head of state, former first lady. That will obviously include the former president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf,
Definitely.
George Manawia,
We also Joao Taylor, former Clamary Ware.
Yeah, they all will fall in that bracket.
So the president have already signed and he's now seated. And so other ministers will continue with the signing, as you can see. So currently signing is the Minister of Finance for Development Planning, Minister Augustine Gaffon, signing the Book of Condolence there. That's so Emmanuel Peno. The Minister of Justice also sits right by His Excellency the President. We also see the political advisor to the President, Madam Magdala Cooper, also there sitting with the President.
So, folks, still here bringing you a live broadcast from the Centennial Memorial Pavilion, where His Excellency President Josiah Maboyka have already signed the Book of Condolence for the former foreign statesman, former president of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Samuel Kayando, and you saw very briefly the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Honorable Augustine Gaffon, who just signed, and he's been followed by Justice Minister Osford Twe, who is at about now signing already. And I see the Minister of State with our portfolio, Madam Mamaka Belete, and also the political advisor to the President. She's Madam Mandela Cooper, who is also here, and schools of officials of government are here. Like we told you, activities leading to the funeral service or funeral rites of the former president and former First Lady, Madam Nessie Bido, starts officially today, June 24th, 2025. And today's activity will see current and past leaders, officials of government, us, the Speaker of the 55th National Legislature of the Republic of Liberia, Honorable Richie Kuhn, will also sign the book of condolence at about 11:45. He's going to be accompanied by members of the House of Representatives, and but before that, you have the Vice President and members of the Senate who will do theirs at 5 minutes past 11, and later at 12:25 p.m. the Honorable Chief Justice and Justices of the Supreme Court of Liberia will sign the book of condolence, and that will be followed by former heads of state and former vice head of state, former first ladies will also sign the book of condolence, talking about Her, Her Excellency, former President Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, immediate past President Joseph that's George Manawia will do, and the former Vice President Joel Howard Taylor will also be here at 1:25 to 1:55. The Doyen and members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the Consular Corps, and heads of international organizations will also be given the time to sign the book of condolence. 2 p.m. to 2:45, government officials will do theirs, and it will take us up to 3:25 p.m., where you have former government officials, and 4 p.m. to 4:20 is open to the public, the general public, to sign the book of condolence. But yes, we stay here, and at the moment is the Minister of State with our portfolio, Mama Ability, who is signing the book of condolence for former foreign President Samuel Kando. So tomorrow, Wednesday, June 25, 2025, at about 9 o'clock a.m., the remains to be removed from the Samuel Stracker funeral parlor and taken to the Centennial Memorial Pavilion, right here where we are, where it will lie in state beginning at 10 o'clock a.m. And immediately after that, the remains will be taken to Zweju, Grangida County. On Thursday, June 25 or 26, 2025, the remains will be taken to the Albert T. White Sports Stadium and Zweju for a night of wakekeeping beginning at 10 o'clock p.m. to the break of dawn. But on Friday, June 27, 2025, at 9 o'clock a.m., the remains will be removed from the Albert T. White Sports Stadium to the Zweju City Hall for the funeral rites. Immediately after that, the late former president and former first lady will be laid to rest at the Dose compound in Zweju City. Yes, of course, LNTV will bring you live coverage, the activities leading to the funeral and burial of the late former president and former first lady. So keep following and TV as we will bring you the departure ceremony tomorrow from here straight to Zweju, followed by the night of wake keeping and also the funeral service, burial. So it's a full package, and we will be providing coverage till the end. My name is Aisiniba, my colleague Anthony Williams is here. We are also here with Jamawa Fofana, who is behind camera and making sure that this broadcast is live. So I see the Senate Putin of the Liberal Senate, Senator Yomble Kanga Lawrence of Grand Bassa County. She's followed by Abraham Darius Dillon. I see Senator Abochi Edistado of Bombay County, Prince Moy of Bon County. I also see Senator Thomas Yaya Nimle, who is also from Grand Jide, Madam Daba Fabula of Grand Kipmore County. I see former Senate Pro Tem Bezonga Fine, Nimeni Patikwa, and the Minister of Education, Madam Jaso Jala. Senator Wellington Given Smith is also here. I see Senator Blebo Brown is also here. Senator Joseph Jala of Lofa County. So they all are making their way to take their seat. Williams.
Yes, of course.
We have members of the
Senate.
Senate who have.
I mean, it was clear that after His Excellency and his cabinet, it will be the Senate, and so obviously they're here, and so President Bouaka and his cabinet are still signing. We saw the Minister of Civil Portfolio signing. We also saw the Minister of Finance signing the Book of Condolence. So now it's the Senate is already here in full. I see Senator Dillon, I see Senator Fapila, I see Senator Jala,
I see Boto Kane of Bapolo County,
Rebel Brown of Maryland.
Nimeni T.H. Batikwa.
Have you, except that I don't see the speaker, but I also do see Honorable.
No, the speaker, they will do their.
The House of the Representative, of course, will be by 11. So the Senate Pro Tem is also here. Senate Pro Tem Yomble Kanga Lawrence.
Obviously, you not see the Vice President.
Definitely, still on diplomatic initiatives out there, engagements. But again, right after the Senate goes, it will obviously be the House of Representatives, headed by the House Speaker, Richard Nangweku. So, but currently the president and his cabinet is still signing. So once they're done, we'll now head strictly to the House of to the Senate precisely.
Yes.
And then eventually the House of Representatives next. We're also anticipating to see the Honorable Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court to also join this signing. But that will be done right after the House of Representatives, headed by the House Speaker, might have done their signing. and also they will be eventually followed by the doyen and members of the diplomatic corps. They will be here also, and of course the Council of Corps and heads of international organizations are expected to also join the signing of this book of condolence. So currently we have the senators from the Senate all seated, headed by Senate Pro Tem Yomli Kanga Lawrence. Of course, the Honorable Vice President is out of the country on diplomatic engagement. Currently, the President and his cabinet are still signing, and we are with the Senate hereafter. Right after the President and his cabinet is done, the Senate will follow through. And right on the table there, we see a picture of fallen President Samodo. So paying homage and honoring a fallen statesman, one that contributed to Liberia immensely during his time as President of the Republic. We're speaking of the former and late chairperson of the People's Redemption Council, PRC, historic PRC, if you know. Of course, since 1951, a gift was given to Liberia that fallen President Samuel Doe rose in the ranks, Master Sergeant of the Armed Forces of Liberia, eventually serving as the chairperson and president in the 80s after the coup that took fallen President Torbert from office. In 2025, years after, Liberia is dignifying the fallen President Samuel Kayado. We're just seeing the arrival of Senator Nathaniel Falo Mageo and Senator Amara Kane, both arriving here. And so, as the signing of the Book of Condolence continues, we'll still bring you the historic intervention of the fallen Liberian leader, Samuel Kayando, eventually. Talk about his life, his contribution to Liberia's democracy, and of course, his wife, Liberia's first indigenous First Lady, late Nancy Bito, who has contributed greatly to Liberian women. We just saw the Madam Jaso Jala, the Minister of Education, have just signed and returned to her seat. We're seeing the Honorable Wilmot Pay of the Lands and Mines Commission there signing, another member of His Excellency's cabinet. And so on tomorrow, the remains or the symbolic remains of the late President Samuel Doe will be taken to Granjide, his hometown, and will be given an appropriate escort by the government of Liberia. And, the Minister of Education, Madam Jaso Jala, is greeting members of the family. She just had a warm hug with Honorable Zoe Penno, who sits right before our microphone. And so while the signing continues, during the administration of fallen President Samuel Kayando, he was portrayed as an enlightened leader whose actions were intended to bring relief to many Liberians. He was also styled Dr. Samuel Kayando, Master Sergeant. And also in 1982, after making a state visit to Chondoa in South Korea and being awarded an honorary doctorate from the University of Seoul in Asia, after 7 years of calling himself a doctor, the late fallen President Samuel Kayando announced in 1989 that he had completed a bachelor's degree from the University of Liberia. History has it that the late Master Sergeant and his wife, the first indigenous First Lady of Liberia, and of course during late President Samuel Doe's first year in office, he openly supported the United States of America, of course, also paid several official visits to the United States during the regime of late U.S. President Ronald Reagan. It was said that President Doe and the U.S. President had a very close relationship. As you all know, U.S. and Liberian ties remains historic. And the late President Samuel Doe contributed immensely towards tightening diplomatic relations between both countries. And of course, speaking of his military history and involvement, he was one of those African leaders who supported the U.S. Cold War and its foreign policy in Africa during the 1980s, and severing diplomatic relations between Liberia and the Soviet Union, now known as Russia. The U.S. also valued Liberia's diplomatic relations as an important ally. Of course, which still continues currently during the Cold War. And also, as part of expanding relationship between Liberia at the time, late President Samuel Doe agreed to a modification of the Mutual Defense Pact, granting staging rights on the 24-hour notice at Liberia's sea and airports for the U.S. Rapid Development Force, that's the RDF at the time, if you remember. And that was established swiftly. And so, to begin with the Senate, we see Honorable Thomas Yaya Nimle greeting family members here. I guess he will be the next person in line to sign. Don't worry. And so, as the signing continues, speaking of the personal though, he was obviously a devoted Christian, emanating from the Baptist denomination. And of course, at one point in time, he was a member of the First Baptist Church here in Liberia, and also in Zwedru precisely. He's a member of the First Baptist Church in Zwedru. and also changed his membership to the Providence Baptist Church here in Monrovia, and that was in December of 1985. For those of you who are around, you probably might have sat in the pew with late President Samuel Kayendo here in Monrovia. Also had a love for sports, soccer, precisely football, of course, which made his involvement with the Liberian national team a priority at the time when he was president, bringing close to him several football stars, including former President George Weah, former soccer legend James Deba, and others were literally under his stewardship. And so the signing from the cabinet continues. So as these activities continue from here in Monrovia, here at the Centennial Pavilion, the actual activities will be held in Grangile, precisely Zredru. Of course, if you have ever been to Zredru, Grangile County, the mark of former president or late President Samuel Doe is written all over the place. Speaking of the pavement of the streets, speaking of infrastructures, just in the past few days, the solidarity from the people of Grangile led them to giving the compound of late President Samuel Doe a fist lift. And I can guarantee you that the momentum is building out there once this symbolic burial begins. Lots of activities are already lined up. It remains expected to be taken to the sports stadium for a night of wakekeeping. So wherever you're watching us from, we'd like to say thanks for watching. BC Radio, LNTV, 99.9 FM. My name is Anthony Williams, and I'm here with my team, Ayeson Yiba, Damara Fofana. We're bringing you this live broadcast here from the Centennial Pavilion. So what do you know? What do you know about late Samuel Kayendo? Leave your comments in the comment section. Or what can you say history will remember the fallen Liberian leader for? Liberia itself have had and gone through the test of time of history, and some of these people, inclusive of fallen President Samuel Doe, have contributed immensely to the history that shaped Liberia's destiny and obviously its future. Some of the legislations that were enacted during his era still remain intact today and are still contributing to Liberia's democracy. Prominent politicians who served alongside fallen President
afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. We are still.
Things that are either helpful viewers, let me say welcome. We are currently at the Aaafternoon City area, and today we will be speaking with the able city mayor of Aaafternoon City, as we will be discussing some related issues about Liberia, Grand Bassa County, and of course Aaafternoon City. So good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
I'm Lady Benson,
Okay.
City Mayor.
So folks, we will be hearing from our city mayor about some issues that is confronting the livelihood of human within Liberia. From the executive branch, from the Ministry of Education to the Liberia National Police, they have just made a ruling that no school within Liberia should parade on the principal street of Bctv. And you, as a public servant and also a parent and a parent citizen of Liberia, what is your take about their ruling?
The ruling, to me, it is good. I feel the reason why Kwame is trying to put stop to it is because most of the schools now charge a whole lot of money. Like before, when we were going to school, when they say quality, they used to charge us money. The school used to take the initiative and do all, like me, I was in Cali. And when Cali days come, we just go with our uniform and drill. Flag days come, we go on with drill. That's what we used to do when we used to drill in our uniform. But for today, you see the charging children, some schools $50, $60, and all things are stressful for the parents. So maybe I feel with him, I said, this is what government looking at and putting start to it. Not that they won't do it, but because they're looking at the economic system within the country. Because some people are single parents and trying to support their children.
Okay. Yeah, and you have also brought my memory to the decision passed by the government previously by the Ministry of Education under the watchful eyes of Minister Jaso Jara, the Minister of Education of Liberia, and about the school fee issues that she said that every government school, the senior high division should pay the amount of 5,000 Liberian dollars, and the junior high should pay the amount of 2,000 Liberian dollars, and elementary should pay 1,000 Liberian dollars. So it's another thing, and people embrace it, and parents embrace it, and there is a new order that have been passed to also is about the graduation fees issue. They have put the fees to a limit that there is a particular fees that schools should pay. Like for example, they say that government school, the proportional or graduation fee should be 5,000 Liberian dollars for all government schools, and for private schools, it should be 6,000 Liberian dollars. Or 10,000 Liberian dollars is the limit of graduation fees. And also, what is your take about that?
To me, it's good. As a parent said that parents, most of the parents these days are single parents. And if you raise the fees high, sometimes you stress the parents. Stress the parents because some parents don't have, some children, father die, mother die, child live with only either pa or live with a mother. Some children only live with sister or live with brother. And when they are there traveling for you to eat, and at this time sometimes paying rent and all of those kinds of things, then before you begin to look for all the different fees, to make it expensive, so I think comment is right.
Okay. Also, folks, there was some we just discussed some national issue, and we are about to discuss our own issue here in Aaafternoon City, Grand Bassa County. So, Madam Mayor, I want to know our Aaafternoon City at the moment, where our city stands at the moment in terms of other related issues.
Like what?
Like the issue about development and contribution to the county, because this is a historical area, right? So, what are some of the arrangements you people are putting in place here too?
Okay, like Aaafternoon is an area that everybody is looking up to do tourism, because I think it's the West agenda is one of the key points that Aaafternoon is a historical place, and we have some things here that we can use to make the place a tourist site.
Yeah, so because Idana have let us say a lot of historical area here. If you go around, every part of this place is historical. Because when I was settled on land here, they were here before. So this is a historical place. And we have the first church that the settler went to here. We have a lot of historical places here. But we want to know if you people are like pushing the government, the national government about the place being a tourism area.
Yeah, government is doing everything in a weak way. But as I tell people, they don't want to sit there and turn over on the bed. It takes time to walk. So when development comes in, there can be a lot of challenges until you can begin to move forward and you laugh.
Okay. It was nice speaking of our city mayor, Madam Lady M. Benson. She is doing tremendously well here, and we must applaud for that. And folks, we have been here in Idana City and stay with us as we get out there and get small fast. Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you for coming.
Before our cameraman can just hang up there, is there anything that we need to ask you that you want to bring out to the attention of people out there?
The only thing I think that people out there need to know is that this is our home. We got no other place to go. Even you went to America, if they deport you, you will come nowhere else for home. So I would like for all of us to join together to come and see how best we can make Idana look more beautiful than it is.
Okay. It was nice speaking about me. Thank you so much again, folks. Thanks for viewing us.
Live from Buchanan, Grand Bassa County, you are watching Bctv, television for all.
Hello, I'm Eva K. Ban. You are watching BCTV. BCTV, television for all.
Educational purposes and conservation to make sure that we keep the animals in South Africa.
The park offers a game drive deeper into the bush where